Hi, I'm Rick of AncientChess.com. You know, I've always liked the idea of having a chess shop, a place where you could walk in, I could take things down off the shelves, and you could get the feel of the chess pieces themselves. So this is my virtual chess shop. I'm going to show you sets personally on video. Anything you're interested in, you're invited to send me an email. I'll have the prices listed. Everything will be as clear as possible so you can really know what I've got here. And a lot of what I have is not on eBay. So come on in. Let me show you what I've got. What I'd like to show you in your first visit to my store here are some really good wooden sets. Now these wooden sets are actually made in India. Almost all of the really good wooden sets nowadays are made in India, which is interesting because many people believe that India is the original home of chess, where chess began. This first one is the design that was used in the match between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky in 1972. Now, I take it out not only because that match was so famous and really made chess what it is today, but also because this set is such a classic design. They really chose essentially the most perfect standard Staunton set available. And this same design was used in subsequent matches between Kasparov and Karpov, who battled for the championship for many years. So this set is known as either the Reykjavik set, which is where the championship took place in 1972, or the Fischer set or the Fischer-Spassky set. I think it's marvelous. Let's look at these pieces up close in detail. Of course, they're all felted and weighted. This set comes with extra queens, which is pretty standard in tournament sets nowadays, just in case you happen to have a game in which pawns queen before your original queen is taken off the board. I think these are lovely. The bishop, the way it's got the very round head. Something about the way that these are designed, they're not only standard, but they have a very kind of robust yet understated styling. I can't say that standard chess sets have ever gotten better than this, although, you know, there are certainly some other fantastic designs. I wanted to show you the knight especially because this knight really gives the set its character. I'll put a cut of the actual chessmen that Fischer and Spassky used. This photograph was made when the set was on display at the Chess Museum in St. Louis last year. Look at those teeth. There are other editions of Fischer-Spassky sets. I'd really like to contrast and compare the knights here. Here's a knight from another edition. I've sold many of these. They're lovely sets. They're very good. They're based on the same set, but just compare the two knights for a moment. This one is much smoother. It's more elegant. It has gentler curves. And it's more exactly the style of the original Fischer-Spassky chessmen. And if you go onto the Jake's website or you look at the original pieces that were actually played in the tournament, you'll see that this really looks a heck of a lot like the original knight. Now, if you actually look at the pieces from the match between Fischer and Spassky, you'll see that the knights on the king side are marked with a little red stamp, and that's kind of in deference to Fischer, who still used the descriptive form of notation, and so wherever the knight hops around the board it maintains a little stamp so you can tell that it is in fact the king's knight. I find it a very strange convention, but these sets do not have the knights marked. All the knights are just regular, as you see. So as far as I can tell, that's the only significant difference between these and the actual pieces used between Fischer and Spassky, and then Karpov, Kasparov. And by the way, this set weighs about 2¼ pounds, which is a very typical weight for a well-weighted set. There's lead weights inside of these. And these pieces are what they call ebonized, which means they're given a very deep black coloring to simulate ebony. And that's just like the original Fischer Spassky set. It was stained, not ebony. The idea being that the only significant difference is that one's black and the other's natural wood. If you're looking for a standard classic set, you really don't need to go any further than this. It's really right here. The improved Fischer Spassky Reykjavik 1972 Chessmen. We do sell very nice boxes for them. Let me show that to you for a moment. This box is made of fake leather. They call leatherette or pleather, or I'm not sure what they want to call it, but it's very nice. As far as I can see, it's perfectly manufactured. You know, it has a few smudges on it because I took it out of the box. It has a little latch. There is a key that comes with it, so this key can lock it up. Carry this around with you. Nobody's going to touch your chessmen, right? And yeah, it's true. You can't open it. Be that as it may. Very nice. It has this plush flock inside the box. You know, I just can't see anything that would make a box like this better. It's just, you know, a lovely piece, and the pieces, the chessmen, of course, look marvelous inside of it. The next sets I'm going to show you come in pretty nice cardboard boxes. They're very sturdy, have symbols of chess on them and so on. Along the similar lines, I'd like to show you what's called the Stallion set. It's also a very standard set, but it's got a styling that makes it a little more elegant. It's very extremely handsome. Here's the knight from the Stallion set. Okay, the black side and the white side. Now these are ebony pieces, which is the long time honored material for making black chessmen, both east and west. You notice that the bottoms of these have a faux leather padding, every bit as good as the original leather, and with a very similar feel. I'll take a close look at this knight. Marvelous character, beautiful detail. Here's the rook. You take a look at this bishop. It's very interesting the way they cut the ball of the bishop like this, and it takes great precision to make a chess set like this. You see, there's a kind of slenderness in these pieces. You know, it's not extreme, but it couldn't be more handsome. The king. So let me give you the lineup here. Now this king stands almost 4¼ inches tall, about 10.6 centimeters. Equally standard as the set that I just showed you. Kind of added elegance, a little more slender, just a little more character, intensity given to the knight's features. A modern element of the rook coming up strongly, like tall like this. You see that in the St. Louis chess pieces they use in the national tournaments now. This chess set is a little heavier than the one I just showed you. The set altogether, just the pieces, weighs about 3¼ pounds, significantly extra heavy. Some people would call that triple weighted. Those measurements are really arbitrary. Triple weighting could be anywhere between 2 and 4 pounds, really. So I always go by the actual weight of the pieces. By the way, for your information, these are 2-inch squares we're showing them on. Very beautiful pieces, genuine ebony and boxwood. For a standard set, I don't think you could do any better than this. Now let's go back in time a little bit. I want to show you some chess styles that have been popular in years gone by. I'll start with the Austrian set. This is known as the Viennese coffeehouse set. It's a lovely design, very popular in the middle of the 20th century. Look at this. King. Marvelous rook. Look at the head on that rook. Beautiful, softly carved knight. Queen. And the piece that really sets it off is the bishop with the alternate colored top. For comparison, here's the black bishop with the white top. It's kind of a Eastern European flair, and this is the height of it, where the entire ball on top of the bishop is the opposite color. Notice how the skirt of them meets the ground. It's a little different from the standard Staunton sets. It's said that this set was based on the Biedermeier design, but then altered to be more of a standard Staunton design. Let's see. This king stands just a tiny bit over 4 inches tall, about 4¼ inches. And the entire set weighs about 2½ pounds. So very well weighted set. It does have felts on the bottom, which was in fact standard in the pieces that were made in those days. As an interesting comparison, I was carrying a set in this style for a couple of years that were a little bit different. I like this one much better. Let me show you. Here's the king I'm carrying now. There's the other king. Now these are all within the range of divergence within this particular design. The knight I was carrying is a little more blocky. This one is very smooth in its carving. The bishops, here's the black bishop. You see, the same style, but that's got the elongated top, whereas more common was round, just like this. The rook of the other set I had was smaller and a little more typical of a rook. This has the very special character of the very wide turret on top. I'm very pleased with this improved set that I'm carrying nowadays. The weight of this set is about 2½ pounds, so very nicely weighted as well. These pieces are also ebonized. The stain is so good that, to my eye, I really can't tell the difference by looking at them. Ebony's has a little more solid, heavy feel, but these are beautiful. Going backwards in time a little bit, here's another set that was considered pretty standard in its day, known as the Calvert design. Now Calvert actually had several designs, but the one that stuck with the name is this typical Old English set. There's the king and queen. Modern players might find it a little bit unusual to see the ball of a queen like that, but that was the standard representation of a queen for many years. In fact, if you go back just before the modern Staunton design, you'll find that everything had the ball representing the queen piece. Now these are also ebonized boxwood and natural boxwood on the white side. A very typical old style bishop, split right up the middle. That perfect cut that I mentioned earlier. And let me just show you the white pieces. They're the same, but the white shows a little bit better. This design is very robust. Everything kind of bulges out. It's large, and consequently it's a bit heavier than other sets. This one weighs about 2¾ pounds for the whole set of pieces. This does not come with the extra queens as some modern tournament sets come with. It's just got one queen on each side. I'm told that they're hand done, but I'm sure they have a lot of mechanical aid in making them really quite perfect. The final set I'd like to show you right now also comes in one of these nice cardboard boxes. This is my favorite, and that's why I had this set in a really luxury style. It's made with genuine ebony, and the boxwood on the white side is antiqued. So it has a beautiful patina. This is the design from the Grand Cigar Divan Simpsons in the Strand. It's kind of esoteric to the modern ear, but this is the design that was made specifically by the famous Jake's Company for that very posh gentleman's club and eating establishment where chess was very popular. I think it is so beautifully realized that I would have been very happy if it were the standard. I'll show you the bishop. Still had the ball, that was the symbol of the queen in those days, but it's starting to have that crown, which is the symbol of the queen nowadays. And the pawns are very interesting, which of course matches perfectly with the general style of the set. Now here's the king. This set is made in genuine ebony. It's weighted and felted, of course. It's given the special antiquing patina. Look at that rook. The way it comes straight down to the ground was very typical of the 18th century. I've actually seen essentially the same set on a popular website listed for $699 plus shipping. Fortunately, I can offer it for less than that. This is also the very finest quality, real ebony. Every chess collector has to have this. Masterpieces by Gareth Williams. One of the sets that it features is this set for using at Simpson's Chess Divan in the Strand, the mecca for all the best chess players of the 19th century. This set that I'm so fond of weighs about 2 3/4 pounds. Although it's slender, it's very nicely weighted. And the king is about 4 1/4 inches tall. So that's basically what I wanted to show you in this first visit to my chess shop. You are welcome to ask me any questions about these. If you request, I will simply send you an invoice. You can buy a set right away. Thank you for coming in, and I'll be happy to show you some more sets in subsequent videos.